Meggan Monday. Sponsored by Gray's Furniture Galleries.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Meggan Monday. We are excited to tell you more about a very recent development in our state that could potentially help you in the future. Here to tell us more and explain, President and CEO of the Mississippi Economic Council, and that is Mr. Scott Waller. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, well, we know we are in the midst of hurricane season. That for South Mississippians, that's something that is always a dreaded time of year, and we're expecting a very active season. But recently, you have announced a new major disaster relief fund for our state. Tell us about that.
Well, what started is really an opportunity to figure out how to really help people has turned into what I think is going to be something that can be used for years to come in the state. And it was something we felt like needed it. The sooner we got it in place, the better, particularly given the fact that, as you said, there's the expectation we could have an active season this year in the Gulf. But the idea behind this is fairly simple. It's we, as the State Chamber of Commerce, have a foundation called the NBC Swayze Foundation that's part of our organization, a 501c3 charitable organization, and through its bylaws it can have special purpose programs. And we thought this would be a great opportunity to really have a statewide reach on raising dollars to help those that are impacted by major disasters. And it's really designed to be that fill the gap in places where it's needed, kind of not necessarily after the fact, but as things go along long term. We all know recovery doesn't happen quick. No. It takes a while. And what you have initially is you have the what I call the rapid response folks, the MEMAs, the FEMAs, and the Red Cross Salvation Armies that come in really quickly, and they're very good at what they do. But at some point they're going to kind of back off and leave. There's still needs, and we saw that. What really prompted this was two things. I was right after the series of training tornadoes that went across the northern part of the state last spring. I was meeting with a group of legislators at the Capitol talking about what MEC was doing in terms of providing a resource page where people could give. And one of the gentlemen that serves in the legislature came up to me and says, look, is there anything you can do to help us? We don't have anybody that's helping us. All the attention's in Rolling Fork or Amory or whatever the case may be. And I said, well, let me see what I can do. And there was eventually a group that tried to start up something, but it really was just for that area. And I got to thinking, a counterpart of ours in Kentucky had done something similar on maybe a little smaller scale. But what I felt like we could do is really create this fund, but then have the reach of it. So we have partnered with Super Talk Mississippi Media, which has a combination of about 12 talk radio stations, 16 music stations, and a total of 45 affiliates, and they're digital and everything else. We'll also probably, we're going to reach out to work with, of course, the Press Association, Broadcast Association when the time comes. But the idea behind it was to have that mechanism to promote that this was a place to give. MEC is celebrating our 75th year this year. Wow. So we've been around for a while. So the credibility of our organization exceeds me by a long time. But ultimately, give people a place to give and feel comfortable that the money will go back into the local communities.
This is certainly exciting to hear what is in the works for relief, and when it comes to long-term relief following major disasters, which I hope, of course, we hope never happens, but it's nice to be prepared. And Scott Waller, we really appreciate all the wonderful information and what you're doing with the Mississippi Economic Council. We wish you well in your venture, and we'll be looking forward to following its progress.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to share this with your viewers, because we understand that there can sometimes be, in the middle of these things that we don't want to be in. But if that happens to be the case, we want to be there to do everything we can to assist.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.